Hello, how are you all? Today we are going to continue Vitala Pandurangan episode 32, Bhakth Santha Sakkubai part 2. We are going to continue. Where did we leave last week? Sakkubai wanted to go to Pandharpur to do the darshan of Pandurangan. She saw many devotees heading towards Pandharpur for Ashadha Ekadasi. She thought that nowadays her mother-in-law and her husband were very kind towards her, and she too was so obedient and treating them so happily, they would definitely agree to send her. Her husband was also very pious. He was a very simple man, a man who did his duty, lived at home, taking care of the house. He never had any wish like Sakkubai. He could not understand her devotion too. So he denied Sakkubai to go to Pandharpur, and he was saying, he tried to pacify his wife. He said, we could go next year. We needed to make a lot of arrangements for that. It would cost a lot. All of a sudden we could not go, but definitely we would make next year. But she was so much disappointed and she was so adamant like a child. Both mother-in-law and husband could not understand her as she was different from other women who lived in that town. At first they refused, later they got so much of angry. Finally, he listened to his mother. He locked her in a room and tied her tightly to a pole. She was crying, weeping and screaming. She screamed heartbroken that Vitala, I want to see and worship you in Pandharpur. Vitala knew her grief. He decided to play a drama. Suddenly a girl resembled Sakkubai came inside the room. Sakkubai did not even give attention how she could enter a room or how she resembled her. Her soul and everything was with Pandharpur. The lady told her, Sakku, you leave now. Go to Pandharpur, worship God and then return as soon as possible. Until then, I'll be here. Nothing entered Sakku's mind except the word go and come fast. She immediately came out of her house, walked and ran as fast as possible and joined the devotees crowd. Kabir Das again saw her, understood everything and waited for Vitalan's drama. Like everyone else, Sakkubai entered Pandharpur, bathed in the Chandrabaha river, went around the city with Nama Sankirtanam, that is Nagara Sankirtanam, and then entered the Sanctum Sanctorium to worship Pandurangan. As usual, there are two versions. The first version is like this. Sakkubai fell at the feet of Pandurangan. Panduranga, it was you who taught me the mantra of Ramakrishna Hari. I never wanted to have a worldly life. I wanted to be at your feet. You have given the boon that those who come to Pandharpur and worship Pandurangan will attain and they will attain the lotus feet of yourself. Now I am here. I want only mukti. You fulfill your promise given to Pundalikan. Sakkubai pleaded with Lord. Pandurangan accepted her devotion and granted her the salvation. Kabir Dasar was witnessing all these. They took her body out of the temple and buried her there itself as they did not know who she was. Now let us go to her house where another Sakkubai was tied in the pool. Sakkubai's husband Mitrurao was a good person. He liked Sakkubai very much, but he could not understand her and her devotion. He could not see his wife tied to the pole. He came inside the room, he untied her. Sakku also apologized to him and sweetly said that she would live according to his mother's wish. Seeing Sakku's transformation, he was surprised and happy. From that day onwards, Sakkubai started living happily, making others also very happy. Seeing change in their behavior, the whole house was very happy and pleased. Time has passed. Original Sakkubai did not return. It took some time to reach the news of Sakku's death to her husband. Her husband was enraged on hearing the news of the death. He said that you were all wrong. My wife Sakku is inside the house. You must have mistook. Then the person who delivered the message explained everything and what Kabir Das witnessed. Still Mitrurao could not believe, went inside to look for Sakkubai. As expected, she was not there. He realized the truth. He could not believe. He was surprised to find that the Lord himself had come to his house in the form of his wife and had served him and his mother. He now understood the greatness of his wife's devotion. He too became the devotee of Pandurangan. Why did this happen? After the death of his wife, he became a devotee. Why did the Lord play this game? This is the first version. Sometimes we lose people and gain knowledge, also the greatness of departed soul. As far as Sakkubai was concerned, she wanted to be like goddess Andal. But maybe her karma of previous birth made her to go through all the pains and finally attained salvation. Now, let's see the second version. Sakkubai asked the girl who untied her, "Who are you? Why you want to be here instead of me? Also, they will beat you so much." The girl who resembled Sakkubai gave her courage, untied her, took her outside the house and said to join the devotee crowd. Sakkubai was now in Pandharpur and forgot completely about the person who helped her. Kabir Das knew all that was happening. It was nothing new. We knew Vitala was in Eknath Maharaj's house for so many years as a servant Kanaya. We knew Vitala was helping Namadeva on a rainy day and so on. Now Vitala wanted to end this drama. When Sakkubai went to a flower garden to pluck flowers, a snake bit her. She fainted and few people took her outside the garden. Nobody knew about her and a person suddenly entered and he took the snake's venom from her body. People around her were very happy now and the man also took the responsibility to leave her in her house. All around them went away. "Sakku, did you forget about the girl who helped you to come to Pandharpur? You stayed here so long without keeping up your promise." Now Sakkubai realized her mistake, went to pray Pandurangan one last time and went to her place. As she reached the pond outside the town, the Sakkubai who helped her came to fetch water. As she saw the original Sakkubai, she blamed her for forgetting her promise. Sakkubai realized her mistakes, apologized and started crying. Her tears fell on the hands of the girl and alas, Pandurangan stood there instead of that girl. Sakkubai was so surprised and felt bad that God had to do all the services to her family. Pandurangan advised to do Prema Bhakti, no need to come to see him. While taking care of the house, one can be a good devotee and attain salvation. And then he disappeared. Chakku returned home and started doing her household works. But Mithru Rao could feel some difference. He asked her, "Who are you? Tell me the truth. You were not here yesterday. It was somebody else." Sakkubai told her all the truth and Mithru Rao was surprised to know Pandurangan served his family. He could realize the devotion of his wife and the care Pandurangan took for her, for his devotee. We must understand one thing. In those days, women had to do housework and take care of the family. They never had any personal preference or devotion. Others also did not know whether the devotion of these women was correct. This was out of the box thinking and people were afraid to do that. We have also seen this in the story of Jnanadeva. The Brahmin society did not know what judgment to give to his father. So here Pandurangan used Sakkubai's devotion to make everyone understand that there is no gender difference for devotion. At the same time, he advised Sakkubai to be patient, do Prem Bhakti and slowly make her home a temple. Sakkubai's family understood this and all became the devotee of Pandurangan, gave respect to Sakkubai's devotion and the whole village followed that. In olden days, when motion pictures started coming, most of the stories are based on the devotees. In the year 1939, a movie called Santha Sakkubai was released. From this, we can understand the greatness of Sakkubai. Shall we see another one next week? Until then, Hare Krishna, Jai Vitala, Hare Vitala, Om Namo Narayana.